Welcome everyone. Today is going to be an extra special live. I'm so excited. My friend Alex is going to be joining us. She's actually going to be giving us a virtual tour of the property she is currently working on. And she's going to be taking us all the way through every room, talking us through her vision, the challenges she's facing today. Guys, this is as real as it gets. So make sure you stay on. Here she is. I'm going to add her on. All right, Alex. I sent you the request. Oh, there you are.
Hello.
Hello, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Oh, hey, Christina and Sarah. We got all the friends in the chat. Oh, Tommy. Look at everyone here to support you.
On a Friday
I
too. Thank you.
know. Well, thank you so much for coming on, and I'm so excited to have you here. Do you want to start off by introducing yourself, telling us a little bit about your investing portfolio and how you got started?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Alex Yee. I go under the Instagram name of Adventures and Avenues. However, I might need to change that to my name just going forward, like branding wise. Anyway, I became a real estate investor about a year ago, so I'm almost at my 1 year of being a landlord. I bought my first property in Las Vegas, and then I bought another one, a new construction, shortly after that in Las Vegas. Um,
Oh, no. Is it paused for everyone? Oh, let's try. Okay. Let's try this again. She is frozen. I think so. I think we did lose her, but I'm gonna try. Oh, there you are.
I have no idea what happened. It just stopped. I was like, oh, are we over? Yeah, I have Wi-Fi in here, which is cool. That's like my favorite amenity or utility in this house. I'll talk about the water later. But essentially, yeah, I started off as a real estate investor doing long-term holds, long-term tenants, and then now I'm starting an Airbnb business in which is geared towards accessibility and creating more accessible vacation rentals. And I can share more about the needs of the disabled community and how we as real estate investors can help address those needs and also help grow our businesses. So right now I'm standing, oh, also before that, like I also do this on the side. So I am a full-time W-2 worker. I work at Google as a UX designer. I recently changed my position, so I'll be working on accessibility full-time. Super excited for that. So I'll be focusing on low vision use cases for the digital accessibility side of things. And then for real estate, I'm focused on the physical accessibility of our spaces. So very excited for all of this to come full circle as my personal brand of wanting to basically allow more access for people to do things they should already have access to. A lot of my life has been themed around access. So just the word access in all of my college classes, all of my projects, it's always been focused on access to fresh food, to clean water, to to adaptive housing, to public services or community events, education, and now it's physical spaces. So very excited to see where this goes.
Wow, that is incredible. That is a true full circle moment. I mean, it's like your entire life has just kind of been building up and then like it just all came together at once, which is incredible and really fires me up because I'm super excited to hear about exactly where you're at. And I know you went over a little bit about why you've chosen accessibility and you clearly have a passion for it and I love it because I can hear it in your voice when you talk about it. But what would you say, can you give a little bit more background on the problem that we face today with accessibility and why other investors should consider making their rentals accessible friendly as well?
Yeah, definitely. So I think right now I am in Oakers, California, near Yosemite National Park. The park itself is actually pretty accessible, but the places around the park in which you would stay are not very accessible. So there are a few chain hotels in which you can book a ADA compliant room, but oftentimes those rooms are already given out to people without disabilities, or those listing details about that room end up being incorrect. So, for example, and this happens in Airbnbs in both residential and commercial properties. So, essentially, there was one story my friend had where he was asking, "Are you sure this flat is accessible?" And the host was saying, "Yes, it's accessible. There's no steps in the entire unit." So, okay, great. So he shows up, he's in his wheelchair, and then he realizes the unit is like upstairs, and it's like a spiral staircase upstairs.
My
So the
gosh.
host only thought about what was within his property, but not within the building his property was in, which made it inaccessible. And there are countless examples for how like something was considered accessible, but not the full holistic experience from the moment you enter the space. And oftentimes it's like a restaurant could put like outfit their bathroom to be totally accessible, and then their entrance isn't, right? So there are different ways that the government has enabled companies to comply with that, and there's some wiggle room. I just want to say before I go into more details that the ADA rules, which stands for Americans Disability Act, is like the minimum. It should be the standard, not the exception. But right now it's a minimum. So when you think about the different specs that it's asking for, it's like that should be our baseline. And looking into the residential space, we're not doing that at all. We don't need to be compliant to that. Only commercial businesses which provide a public service need to be ADA compliant. And so why is accessibility really important to get into for your short-term rental is because all these people, number one, just need basic access to these spaces. And once you open up access to these spaces, you have a lot more people that can now stay in your space. And two, we have a silver tsunami coming. So every single day, 10,000 Americans turn the age of 65 until the year 2030, which then it just grows to how many more people are 65. And now we know, like, okay, maybe your 401k is not as big as it was before, but people are starting to, they're forced to draw from their 401ks and spend that money somewhere. And a lot of people are retiring, wanting to go on vacations, wanting to spend time with family. They need safe spaces to stay in.
Wow. That's, I mean, just those statistics right there are mind blowing. And it's crazy that there's such a need, and yet I feel like you and Christina are the only ones I feel like I'm hearing talk about this, and I love that you guys are bringing more awareness to it. And so, first of all, thank you for, going the extra mile. And I love that you touched on too that you're not just doing what is ADA compliant. Like you are going above and beyond for your Airbnb and the short-term rental, right?
Yes, yeah. So I am at this property because yesterday and the day before I had an accessibility consultant, Jacqueline Dobson, who is a certified living in place professional and creates solutions for uh, individuals who are disabled, whether that be through age or through injury. Maybe they're born that way, but essentially people who need home modifications in their life to be able to stay living in the home they are in today. I thought it would be a great opportunity to invite her into my project and have her assess the space that I had just purchased before I get any of the renovations done, so that I know these are like specific places or specific modifications are going to be the largest impact. Like, does my landscaping, does my floor, not flooring, but does making sure that every room has a closet, like, does that really matter in the grand scheme of through the lens of accessibility,
Yeah.
right? So that's informing my budget, my project scope. She's helped line up like what are the potential areas for opportunity for making it more accessible and something that would stand out as a selling point for those with disabilities as an Airbnb listing. Also, by the way, Airbnb has, I think, 21 different accessibility filters within their listing
Wow.
information. So if you're able to check off some of those, Airbnb will promote your listing more. Granted, a lot of hosts don't understand what those filters mean, so they'll say, yes, this is the right width or the right height of something, but they'll use the same picture to refer to it being compliant or fitting within that requirement. So there's some education that needs to be done there, but for the most part, it's a great business opportunity as an Airbnb host to make your space more accessible. It's also more discoverable.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I feel like there's so many different avenues you can use to expand this, and not just short-term rentals, but just regular rentals or even multifamily areas. I mean, there are so many amazing things that you could do in this space that I'm so excited to see you accomplish. But what I'm curious too is, so you mentioned you added her onto your team. Is there anyone else that you're planning on adding onto your team to be able to create this accessible short-term rental?
So doing a lot of research is imperative, not only just for my project, but also I want to be able to share it with all of you guys. And so with that comes interviewing subject matter experts. There's a woman, Janet Engel, who creates the Home Designs for Life podcast. Amazing. She's an occupational therapist that is very passionate about aging in place. She even is an instructor for CAP certification, which is Certified Aging in Place, so that you can take that and become more, I guess, credible within the industry. But what she does is bring in experts and interview them about what they do specifically in addressing aging in place needs and product selections. So from those product selection recommendations, I even emailed a president of a company, Innovate Building Solutions, Mike Fody, who I'm going to talk to in a couple days, and I'm able to interview him and ask, like, what are you seeing now in terms of how people are buying your products? What are the current needs? Like, they're going to be closest to that knowledge. And then beyond that is like talking to actual users, talking to wheelchair users is the most important thing. And so I'm still lining up more interviews. I've interviewed one person, but I definitely need to keep interviewing more people. So if anyone knows of anyone who would be willing to share about their experience being in a wheelchair or using a walker, I would love to talk to them and just make sure to not come in with my own assumptions about what their needs are, but really validate it with real information. So that is how I'm integrating other people into my team.
I love that. And now, this property that you are at right now, which I'm super excited for the tour. But before we get to the tour, can you tell us a little bit about why you chose Oakhurst to start with your first Airbnb, how you found the property, and kind of what you have done so far and where you're at this moment?
Yeah, sure. So I chose Oakhurst, California because I live in California and I really wanted a place to stay when I go visit Yosemite. And also, it's it's one of the most popular national parks. So there's millions of people that visit the park every year. It's pretty like all season like visitation. And then Oakhurst, California has a lot of industry here versus other cities near the gate entrances of the park. And so I chose Oakhurst because I also had a few people, I knew a few people that own properties and short-term rentals here, so they could also help me. So those are my competitive advantage when choosing a market, as well as just seeing what are the type of people coming in to Oakhurst and what are their needs. And there's also Bass Lake, which is a whole other thing because Yosemite Park itself could be difficult to get into if you don't have a day use permit. But there's also Bass Lake, which is a beautiful alpine lake. So I'm just seeing a lot of growth in this area. I would say maybe this is in people's back of the heads, but like back of the mind is what about fires? Like you're in California, you're in the forest, fires are almost inevitable. Yes, for sure. There might be a 50% chance that there would be a forest fire here, but no one's living here full time. This is all stuff. That's what insurance is for. California Fair Plan is expensive, but if you can make the numbers work, it's worth looking into, right? A lot of people dismiss these mountain towns because they're like, oh, it's just the insurance is going to be too high. It's like, well, let's write that out and see if you can still make the deal work. And so when I was looking for deals, I consulted with a few different realtors. I told them my goals. I want to find a property, at least 3-bed, 2-bath that was single story. So I didn't have to worry about making the second floor accessible. There are solutions for that, but for right now, my very first Airbnb, I wanted to just make it easier for myself by looking at step-free access out of the gate, and then looking at door widths. So a lot of doors are really like only 28 inches wide, which is the minimum amount. Like that's almost like maybe 24 inches is the width of a wheelchair seat, and then you have the wheels, and then you have people's hands. So you really want to make sure that you're going to allow for people to come in, and you're not going to have to tear down the walls for every single room when you make those adjustments. Those adjustments are possible. It's not like the end of the world if that needs to happen, if you find the perfect property and you're like, just the door widths are not enough. Again, it just comes down to nuances of scoping the work. But for me in this property, it's beautiful. It has a vaulted ceiling, as you can see. So I was like, as I was touring houses, I was like, I need the vaulted ceiling. And then I was like, I need the natural light. So I could run through some other criteria, as well as like the outdoor space, because the folks that are coming to visit this Airbnb would be interested in nature, right? So just making sure that I have enough land, I have enough space for people to chill out.
I love that. And when you were deciding kind of which national park, I know you chose California because you wanted to be here,
Yeah.
but is the park itself accessible friendly, or is that something you look at when you think you'll be deciding when you look to expand?
Yes. So I'm gonna look. Let's say I'm like, okay, I have Yosemite covered. Yosemite has fantastic accessibility modifications done and offerings. So there is a travel accessibility expert influencer guy, Corey Lee. So you can check out his Instagram, Curb Free with Corey Lee, or Curb Free Corey Lee. He's gone to Yosemite, he's gone to different national parks, and he's rated them and given them certain, I guess, feedback for what is accessible, what is not. And he actually rated Yosemite pretty highly. And then having been there myself, I was like, with that lens, like, how would you be able to do this? So the park mostly is pretty accessible. You can see like the biggest things, most popular things with wheelchair access. When I go into another market, let's say I'm looking at the Ozarks or Pigeon Forge, already a very saturated market, maybe doesn't have accessibility addressed. So that could be the niche, and that's why I'm not afraid of entering a saturated market. But looking at the park itself, like, is it going to be accessible? Because if it's not accessible, if that end destination is not accessible, then why am I, like, I can only control so much. So those are things I need to consider.
Okay, got it. Well, thank you for sharing that. And did you want to start with the tour?
Yeah, do it.
Perfect. And then
Okay.
as you kind of walk us through, if you could kind of share your vision or anything you plan on changing, we'd love to hear it.
Totally. Okay, so I'm gonna, you don't need to see my face as I do this one. Okay,
Beautiful face.
so I'm just gonna bring you through, like, this is the living room. It's probably the most uninteresting room, but hopefully it's gonna be really cool. Look at that beautiful
I
fireplace,
love that fireplace. Wow.
vaulted ceilings. This space itself is quite dark, which I'll talk about lighting design for accessibility later. But I'm still needing to work through this. I'm seeing this as like the entertainment space. Then we have the kitchen and the area that I hope most people spend time in. I had those 2 skylights installed over the kitchen on the roof because I had to replace the whole roof. And I'm seeing the middle island as a space where everyone is gathering. I mean, I'm already working from there. I love it. The kitchen itself, like this galley, is wide enough for people to pass through. So that was also a consideration. And then we also have this really great space here for dining.
Mhm.
Some things to consider in a kitchen to make it accessible are things like the kitchen sink. So could someone in a wheelchair roll up to the kitchen sink and be able to wash dishes, wash their hands, do anything with the sink? Right now, with a chair, you would not be able to. And the reason is because you can't put your knees under this. You're
Mm.
going to hit your knees against it. So what happens is that they're going to have to sit 90 degrees to, like, where's my hand? They have to sit this way instead of that way into the sink. And then they'll have to turn their torso, which could be incredibly difficult, maybe impossible for them to do. So that's a consideration. That's a modification that I'm looking into. However, I have in the mountains, you have well water, which needs to be filtered. So there's a bunch of plumbing down there. So we have to make some modifications around that. The stove is important. So are these controls reachable for someone sitting in a chair? They may not be. So maybe this isn't like the best oven. Then again, they're on vacation. So who cooks on vacation? I don't.
I don't either.
Maybe not the most important thing to fix right now. You'll notice that there is a hole in the cabinet here, and that's where the microwave would go. There's an outlet there. What's great about this already being here is if you're in a chair, you can already roll up to this microwave and use it and be able to lift out whatever is hot. Guest appearance.
Oh.
Um, so a lot of times you'll see in homes that the microwave is positioned above the stove, right? So it's like a microwave vent. And that is incredibly difficult for both people in wheelchairs as well as children. They just can't reach the microwave to be able to heat up their food and they lose some independence. So having the microwave lower or even just on countertop level could be really helpful. Here we have this like weird configuration. I know sometimes like houses already have laundry in their kitchen. It's not like my favorite thing in the world. So I was looking at different ways to change that around. And that is what I'll get to next. So that's just a standard bedroom. It's fine. Also vaulted ceilings. And then this is the bathroom in which I would like to spend more time in. So it's essentially, hello. Uh, this is the small hallway bathroom. If we look at the approach to the bathroom, let's say the person in the wheelchair is staying in this room so that they have easy access to that bathroom. They'd be coming around this corner and they'd need to fit through the wall, or the door. So is that door frame like wide enough? Right now it's not, so I'm gonna have to like open up the wall and move it a bit over. But that's fine because I'm actually going to end up, remember all that space where the washing machine was and the fridge? It's on the opposite side of this wall. So what I'm gonna do is push out this wall to take up the space where the fridge and the washer and dryer are, move the fridge over to, move this fridge over to that door area and make sure that, so I don't really need that door because I have another exterior door, and then move the laundry into the bathroom, which is actually really helpful because people who maybe are older or have spinal cord injuries could deal with incontinence. They could soil themselves very easily and maybe they can't regulate their bowels. So soiling is very common, so why not just have the laundry in the bathroom? So it just makes things a lot easier, right? Also for parents and babies. So I'm gonna move, we spent probably like, I would say like 3 or 4 hours just talking exclusively about the bathroom, maybe even longer. And the reason is for wheelchair access, again, the cabinets, I need to be able to put my knees in there. I need to be able to like put my arm, my elbows in here. So if you think about like the other side of the elbow, if I'm hitting the wall, like I might need this sink offset a bit. So there is like a certain amount of space and distance between here and here.
Mm.
Also the toilet. How do I get on the toilet? How do I rotate and transfer from my chair onto the toilet? That's something to consider. And then the tub. This is the biggest thing, is like okay, a tub is not accessible for someone in a wheelchair. So I'm going to turn this into a curbless shower. It's going to be beautiful. Like this bathroom, I'm going through all of the details of accessibility, but rest assured it's going to be the most beautiful spa feeling space ever.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to see it. When you were like talking, who were you talking kind of over all of this with, and were they able to give you a quote on how much it would cost?
So I'm still getting the quotes out. I'm finalizing the scope of work right now. So unfortunately, I can't give you those final numbers, but I can follow up on that. Just follow my Instagram for those. I worked with Jackie Dobson, who is the certified living in place professional. And so she's the one that did the accessibility consultant consultation as well as universal design consultation. So the goal is like not to completely only design it for a wheelchair user, but the theory behind that is if we can design for that person, other people will also benefit.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense.
So yeah, and even so we have like lighting is something that's really big. So when you're 35, when you reach the age of 35, your eyes start deteriorating, unfortunately. Just FYI. So when it becomes harder to drive, you know why. At the age of 70, we need 3 times more light than our eyes do when we're 20s, when we're in our 20s. So you want to consider lighting in places like this, especially when you're getting a lot of stuff done in here. And so that's where either a larger window or looking into lights, like I'm going to replace this with a LED mirror with like the back LEDs, so it'll like illuminate more nicely. And then I'm going to put like more recessed lighting in over the laundry area.
Wow, that's incredible.
Toilets, grab bars are important. So that's something that I'm looking into and researching. Grab bars historically seen in hospitals are like, ew, gross. I don't want to use those. Actually, in public restrooms, they're not used that much. But in a home, it's important for someone to be able to transfer on this toilet. And so there are very beautiful sculptural grab bars that I'm looking into. So stay tuned for that.
I
The height of
will.
the toilet, yeah. And then just for some other education, the height of the toilet is actually really important. And that's something to consider as a flipper or even someone as a rehabber. If you're going to have to replace the toilet anyways, try to get something that is 17 inches or taller from the bottom of the toilet to the top of to the base of the porcelain seat. So not with the cover on it, but to the base of the seat. And the reason being is it's really hard to get up from a chair or a seat that is low. So our seniors these days, so even my friend who's like in her 70s, she has a really hard time getting up from the toilet seat and she's not disabled. So that's just something to consider, just making lives easier. And then if you have kids and, you can have a stool, you can have the training porta potty thing so they don't fall in.
Yeah,
Okay, so
it's
that's
nice to see that. She is amazing.
Uh, yes, golden nuggets on toilets. All the things on toilets. Even like, okay, okay. You also have to consider. You want more nuggets? This width from here to the wall also has to be considered because sometimes someone needs to like lean forward to get up, and sometimes they can't. And so, yeah, one person was even like hitting their face on the towel because they couldn't get up. So that's why grab bars are really important. Um, in terms of materiality and materials, there is a dynamic friction coefficient number. Anyway, a fancy number that basically says like whether or not this is slip resistant. And so in a wet room, particularly, you want to make sure that these floors are something that people won't slip on. So generally, the more grout lines, the more slip resistant it is, but it also is a lot more work to take care of. But there are certain material choices that you can look at when you're already flipping a house, rehabbing a house. Just look at the materiality of things. Consider that. Don't just choose like the cheapest thing. It doesn't mean it's more expensive to get something with a better texture, but why not make that thoughtful design consideration?
Have you chosen your flooring yet?
I have not. I'm going to do tile, and this is going to like be a beautiful transition into the bathroom. So yeah, I could keep going on and on about this, but only if y'all are interested.
I'm very interested. You are just a wealth of knowledge here. You're just dropping so many golden nuggets, like Alex said.
Yeah, you can come back and rewatch this live anytime. One other thing I will add onto this shower situation is when handheld showers are incredibly helpful for not only one, your disabled guest or a child or a parent washing a child or a caretaker washing their loved one, but also it's easier for your cleaner too. So I think cleaners for your Airbnbs also like the handheld shower heads. So replacing that there. When you think about like a sitting area, so you see sometimes in like public restrooms or in like gym showers, there's a fold down seat. So sometimes those seats need to be like, they're kind of gross. So like, I know a lot of people don't like to use them, but they're really important for making sure that someone who can't stand for a long time can actually take a shower. But if you make the seat like all the way over there, they can't change the temperature control. So like, just consider that. Like, if I were to sit down here, would I be able to reach the controls?
Yeah, that makes sense. I didn't
All right.
think of
Any
that.
other questions? Any other questions about the bathroom? Did I miss anything in the comments?
Let's see.
I think we're good. Okay.
I think we're good.
Yeah. All right. So let's continue with the house tour. Another standard bedroom, vaulted ceilings, some closets, bifold doors. They're new, but they're ugly, so I'm gonna take it out. And split ACs, AC heaters for every single room, which is, I guess that's okay. Still haven't figured out how to make it a heater. I just know how to make it AC. This is the master. So again, vaulted ceilings. I hate what they did with like painting the ceiling. Ugh, so sad.
Is there anything you're going to be changing to like these rooms other than like the double doors?
Uh, so the door width. So this door width, I can't change. Unfortunately, it's not going to be the most accessible. But that's like where I draw the line, right? Like I'm not going to move all of these walls over just to make the width of this to be able to fit like the 36 preferred. So, but the other bedroom, so like this bedroom, because it's closest to the accessible bathroom, I'm gonna move it over, like extend it, the door frame. Yeah. And then I'm also gonna replace the carpet with LVP because carpet is really hard to roll on and shuffle on, and it's also just gross because it just picks up dust and dust stays. And I think we know in real estate and properties, like this beautiful LVP is way more preferred and increases the value of the home. So, or the perceived value of the home. This is the other bathroom. So you'll notice here it's like much smaller. So on the right side we have the vanity, we have the toilet, and then we have the shower. So it is a pocket door. So you see there's no door here. A pocket door is okay, but it's like really hard to get my finger in here and like pull it and have like the strength to pull it. So that's not great. I'm going to try to like put oil in there to make it nicer. But because I'm already making the other bathroom so accessible, I'm not as concerned about this one. This one is still okay. Like I would of course love to maximize accessibility for both, but you know, I also have a budget, so that's something I'm considering. The shower looks fine, so that's like a just standard tub fiberglass shower. I'm gonna replace this gross toilet, and then the vanity and everything here is just gonna get replaced. So this is just gonna be more of like a facelift, cosmetic rehab here. Yeah, and then I think that's pretty much it for the property. I can show you the exterior of the property, which is pretty cool. Um,
Also, so someone did ask, what will you do for the heat system needed in winter? Which I think you touched on that. You were going to try to convert the AC unit.
yeah, I mean, if someone knows more about split AC heater units than me, please let me know. There's a manual in the drawer here, but I couldn't get the heat to work.
Oh,
So someone has firsthand experience with the mini splits and using them as a heater, I would love to know because this will get very cold. There's no attic, right? So there's less insulation.
mhm.
All right, I'm gonna go into the yard, the back area.
Ooh.
It's mostly flat, which is cool. There's different levels, and I don't know what that is. It's a structure. That's what it is, and I don't know if I'm gonna keep it. I would like to like maybe turn it into something and like maybe put the hot tub there, a little cabana thing. Though I also think this is like fantastic. This area is fantastic for stargazing because I actually saw a shooting star last night. It was like the most amazing moment. I saw a shooting star just like it flew across and it kind of like twisted like that. You know how fireworks do?
Oh.
Oh my gosh. I was like in disbelief. Is that really a shooting star? Like, am I imagining it? But then my friend saw it too. We're like, what are the chances that we both saw a massive shooting star? So another selling point for this
That's
house.
incredible.
Yeah. So that's in mountain towns. You have so I have a septic system, and then up there is where the water pump is for the well. So that's water and sewer, and then there's like gross things here. I'll show you my little pets. Oh my gosh, maybe they're gonna be in here.
Pets.
I have little pets. Oh my gosh, it's kind of gross in here. Where did they go? Oh yeah. Wait, can you
What
see?
is that? Is that a mouse?
Froggies.
Oh, okay, it's a frog. Okay. I was like, no, not a mice.
Where are
Our
they? I
frogs are
can't even. I'm sorry. Hard to see them. But there you go. That little one here.
so, you know, froggies.
My frog closet. So funny. My contractor was like, "Oh, I hate frogs." I'm like, "What? They're so cute." But that's my water softener, water treatment thing. Anyway, uh, here is one of my favorite parts about the whole property, and it is this space right here. So you see a basketball hoop. You also see a lot of flat ground, and I'm going to turn this into a pickleball court.
A pickleball court?
Yes, because seniors also like
Oh,
pickleball.
I'm excited.
Why does everyone like pickleball? The problem with
Oh no, you're
pickleball is
starting
like
to
no one
break
can find a
out.
court. Oh, okay.
You're starting to break out a little bit.
I'm walking away from the Wi-Fi. That's why.
Okay. It's getting a little bit
Okay.
better.
Okay. I was walking away from the Wi-Fi, so that's why.
I mean, pickleball is a pretty accessible, friendly sport, right?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
So unique.
This is thanks. This is the entrance. So you see here, not the best. There's a lot of trip hazard here, even for just a normal person coming in at night. So yeah, this is the front door, and really what the property looks like. Let me know if I start to
Okay.
get too far from the Wi-Fi.
You're good. What a beautiful roof.
Thank you. Brand new, brand spanking new. The white shed over there is like literally the only storage I have because I don't have a garage. So I'm gonna need to like figure that out. Also, you guys, over there, I'm not gonna go too far, but there's like some teal dots, like teal spouts beyond that fence. That's where my septic is. My septic, uh, like entry is for the air, I guess. I don't know, you guys, like not technical septic person, but that's where I need to like make sure people don't drive into. Because if they
Okay.
drive over the septic pipes, then it's going to be very expensive. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, mountain town septic. So fun. Don't look it up. Don't look up how it works, please.
Okay, I'll take your word for
It's
it.
just no, it's very expensive. And if you're looking for a mountain house, make sure that the seller fixes the septic before you buy it. Also, the inspector will point it out if it needs to get replaced, and if you're taking a traditional loan, they're going to require it to be in working condition.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so mountain towns also have a propane tank that you can get refills for. Uh, and then these two sticks I found out are septic because we were doing laundry and I heard water when I was outside walking around. And so I think those two sticks have something to do with water. Anyway, enough of the boring stuff. But this is the beautiful yard. I'm hoping to turn it into something like a beautiful oasis of relaxation and stargazing.
I love that. It's funny, when you first told me about the pickleball court, I thought the pickleball court was going right there, like where you're standing right now, but it's completely
Oh,
over to the side. So
yep.
you have way more land than I initially thought. That's awesome.
All of this and up to where that green tree is,
Wow.
like that level. So I have no idea what to do with it. But if you have any ideas or if you have any recommendations for landscaping designers, let me know.
Wow, so much potential. I love it.
And then that also becomes like my the thing that I can offer my neighbors because they're helping me a lot and all their Airbnb hosts. And so I'm like, I can't really give you anything or help you right now because I'm just getting started. But once my pickleball court gets set up, you can go play there. No hard feelings, but use at your own risk, but you can go use it.
I love it. So, throughout all of this, I feel like you've already done so much, but like, would you consider yourself even halfway at this point, or where do you feel like you're at?
No, I mean, this is just like getting started. I just got the consultation. Um, yeah, Ricardo, it's gonna be a burster because I'm making it a short-term rental. Um, and this place is pretty dated, so I have to like redo all the flooring too. So it is like a proper um, rehab. None of it has been demoed yet. Just the roof is good, but this wall is still here. It needs to move. So I don't feel like I'm anywhere close, but I really am hoping that I found a good contractor, going to send on the scope of work, and that we can get this done in time to open um, end of August or sorry, October.
I was like, August, wow, who's your contractor?
I know, magic, just point.
No, but even like October is still incredible. I mean, that's not that far away. So I feel like you could do
Well, I
it.
told Tommy that I was gonna be opening in October, and Tommy also said that he's gonna buy a property by October.
Oh,
So,
calling Tommy out.
Tommy asked what's the timeline of the rehab and when do I expect to finish. So, I'm still getting that sorted, but essentially I need to get it done in about 4 weeks. That's what the contractor said. So I'm saying 5 or 6 weeks would be the rehab. And then I'm gonna already order. I'm working with Brianna Michelle, which is Tony J. Robinson's interior designer. I already started working with her. I have my mood board, and in a couple days I'll have the designs and the product selections. And then we're just gonna order all of the furniture right away. I'm gonna rent a storage pod because I don't have anything, or I might just put it in the room that nothing is happening in, and just cover it up so it doesn't get dusty. But that will be my plan to have all the furniture there, and just if anyone wants to come up with me and assemble furniture in the mountain, let me know.
You know I'll be there.
It's so fun. We have a building
uh,
party.
I'm calling out Tommy and Ricardo too. They have to come too. And Ricardo asked, "How did you find your GC?"
I found him through my friend who has a short-term rental in Oakhurst, so she used him. I saw her property and I liked his work, and so I began working with him. And he is very sensitive to my goals of accessibility. So he's even doing his own research to look at what the standard should be. So yeah.
I love it. And through what you've gone through so far with planning and construction, what's been your biggest challenges so far, and how are you working through it?
Biggest challenge I think is really understanding my target market, my target audience. So making that decision of somebody who is like a particular audience that is very niche requires more research upfront because not many people know about what their needs are or have been paying attention to it. So I think that is the most challenging thing, aside from just the regular difficulty of starting an Airbnb for your first time. And just I like to make my life difficult and do it all at the same time, to learn everything. But that I think is the most difficult thing, but it's also been the most rewarding thing because I'm able to become an expert in the space and share it with people like you guys.
And I absolutely love that you want to become an expert in everything. But for investors who are doing like who want to make their rentals accessible friendly, but not necessarily want to have this be like 100% of their niche and be like an expert in it, where would you recommend them find resources for kind of everything you've gone over with us today?
Mm-hmm. So that's where I'm hoping I can put together a package of something where I can share it with you guys just based on everything I've learned. Again, it's like only my experience, so there's going to need to be more research done. I will also share the resources for like that podcast, Home Designs for Life with Janet Engel, talking to an occupational therapist because occupational therapists think about like the entire experience, not just like their health, but like how they use the space around them. I would highly recommend at least a consultation with the occupational therapist that specializes in aging in place. I can give you the name of mine, Jackie Dobson. I found her on PBS. She was on This Old House. She was on
Oh,
TV, and I was like, "That's cool. Let me just reach out to her." And now I'm working. Um, but yeah, highly recommend just getting some sort of expert opinion. And you can start small. You don't have to do it all, right? And then maybe I can provide some consultation in the future as well. So
yes,
if you
please.
want to get started today, just let me know and we can do it together.
Absolutely. And yes, please make us that beginner's guide to accessible, friendly rentals. I will be on the lookout for that because that sounds amazing. Because you said so much, and I'm just like, as you're going through all this, I'm like, where did she get all this information? That's very, very time consuming. So I think you're going to be able to not only provide like safe and accessible friendly housing, but I feel like you are on the path of literally changing the accessible friendly rental space as we know it, because you are going to make it so much more streamlined, and people love things that are streamlined because it's easier to do, and not everyone has a lot of time to go in and do as much research as you have done. So you are going to be making it so much easier for investors to do that. I feel like you're going to be causing a ripple effect of other people finally coming into the space, and I'm just so excited to be here for it. Like, yes, I know the first ripple.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that is truly my hope. Like, I think when I first told people that I was going to be focusing on accessibility within my vacation rentals within the saturated market, people are like, well, people in wheelchairs don't go to the outdoors. And I was like, that's because they don't have access to it. So chicken and the egg or egg, like I believe that it's not only the right thing to do, but there's huge business opportunity with the silver tsunami, on all the folks going into retirement, also people who just get injured and they still want to go on vacation. So yeah, I hope that my skills as a UX designer can also be applied into this space as I think about how to make it easy, not only easy for my guests, but easy for you guys to follow.
Well, this has been absolutely incredible. Now, where can people continue to follow this journey?
Yeah, so continue following this journey on my Instagram, Adventures and Avenues. And I also am sending out weekly newsletters to update people on everything that I've been doing. So if you want to get on that, just DM me. And I promise I won't spam you. And then you can also book calls with me as well if you just want to learn more about it and just talk more informally about this process.
Oh, you're incredible. Thank you so much for coming on and giving us this awesome virtual tour of your house. It's beautiful, and I'm so excited to come out and visit it one day and also to see it when you're done. So, I mean, what you're doing is so exciting. So, thank you so much for sharing it with us. And yes, I loved your newsletter, by the way. I got it and I read it, and it turned out so good. So, you're very, very detailed. So, if anyone hasn't signed up for a newsletter yet, go and do it. Do you have a link in your bio, right, for your newsletter?
I will add one.
Yes.
But right now, just DM me your email.
Okay.
Um, yeah,
And
I'm
as a
very, very low key. I also just started a Calendly thing to book some time, but yes, I will make that easier and really, truly want to deliver value to everyone.
well, you already have, and you're going to continue that, and I already know it. And thank you so much again for hopping on and doing this amazing tour and sharing all of these golden nuggets. This was absolutely just incredible. I'm just gonna say it again. I feel like I've used that word a few times, but that's what I have to describe it. So thank you so much again for coming on, Alex.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me.
All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye, everyone.